Hello and welcome to Chat Sith Get Banged, the Team Calamity Final Fantasy TCG podcast. I am your host, Tom Hall, and today I'm joined by an all Team Calamity affair. We have Mitch Lander and Ben Swanston.
Hello.
Hello. So we are here, it's Opus 16, which is now the Emissaries of Light, and we're here to do our Legend review, as usual when we have a new set. So I will go through the rules. We do it slightly differently, so rather than just reviewing the Legends for what they are, we have like a tier ranking system, just to sort of make it a bit more interesting. You can play along as well if you're listening, if you want to sort of join in that kind of way of ranking. I will go through the rules for how to do that, but first I guess we should probably just sort of assess where we're at with the set. This is going to be quite an important set, I think, because we've had the sort of update announcements from Square and also from sort of the distributor about what's happening in terms of competitive play this year, which is quite exciting. So just to recap, if you've not seen the news stuff, so for the EU, we seem to have sort of a semi-unofficial sort of nationals program, which is going to be run by the distributor for Europe, which is Asmodee. So regionals for that have just started up, and it's the same as last year. If you win a regional, you can earn buys for the first and second round of the nationals, and we expected nationals to take place sometime later this year. So the regionals happening are going to be Opus 16. I think there's been one or two already, and for the best part, I think Italy might be a bit further ahead in terms of their progress, but in terms of everyone else, it's going to be Opus 16 for the regionals, and then probably the next set for the nationals. America's a bit different. I think you don't have anything like unofficial running in terms of sort of unofficial support, but we have now just had the announcement from the Square team that they're running the ReRaise series. So these are going to be like one-off events. There's ones in different European countries, and there's a whole load for America. So these are being supported by Square, and there's various sort of prize packages that's coming out. And these will be like the form of a crystal cup, but they won't be qualifying for anything sort of grander. This is going to be it, we think, for this year for Square. So this is really cool. So we've got proper tournaments to go to. We've got new cards, so the meta's going to be reset, I imagine. So probably this is quite important set to review. Sort of how's everybody feeling about the announcements and the prospect of some tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be good to actually get back out and play against people who aren't in your locals and just see what, like, before everyone was like making friends, or like, especially in the UK, like making friends across the country and stuff like that. And I imagine it's the same in other like parts of the EU. We're now able to go and see them all again and play a bit more, and it's just going to be good for the game.
Yeah, playing cards with anybody's fun, isn't it? So it doesn't matter if they're your local friends or further afield friends, it's going to be good.
Yeah, no, I think it's good all round, and it's great to have the sort of official confirmations coming through and stuff. I think everyone appreciated the situation they're in, but it's nice to have sort of something official to look forward to. And yeah, I think the ReRaise so far, I'm sure there's going to be extra prizing from the stores that are running it, but in terms of official, we know for sure if you sign up, you get a special full art Amaterasu, which is, I think it's stamped with ReRaise event, isn't it? In the gold leaf. So that's pretty cool. Nice exclusive card. Then it looks like they're giving out the Varn Masters, which were the Masters sleeves. So Japan Masters always has like the best sleeves going, and they looks like they're bringing those over to these as well. I think that might just be for the winners or the top whatever for the tournament. And then there's some cool the same Varn art. So no, it wasn't last Opus' Legend, it was the Opus before, wasn't it? The sort of custom art Varn on a cool map. So that's looking pretty cool. It's very exciting. So should we get straight into the Legends review and then see how that goes? Maybe we've got a bit of time, we can pull out some of our sort of favourite cards outside of the Legends in the set.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Right, I'll bring them up. So just for, if you've not listened to us before, or you've probably forgotten, so the way we do it here, so we have a tier ranking system. So the highest tier being S tier as standard, and then after that it goes A, B, C, But just to make it a bit more interesting, rather than just rating everything S tier and A tier, etc., you can only limit it to 2 S picks, and the other categories are 4. So you have to fit each slot with a card. So there has to be 4C, 4B, 4A, etc., etc. What we'll do is normal. So I'll let one of you lead out on each card. We'll go in the order that's presented on the main FF website. So that starts with fire. Actually, there's only 3 of us. There's normally 4 on a podcast review. So maybe I'll lead on one as well to sort of embarrass myself. I'm normally able to sit in the background and just sort of hop on all your opinions, but I will also lead them as well.
Judge us from the side quietly. Yeah.
Cool. So we'll start with fire school. Traditionally, Mitch, I think you always go first. So I'll let you go first. I'll just read out the abilities for anyone who's not following on the video, being if you're on a podcast player. So this is the first fire legend is Squall. So he's a 4-cost 8k forward job seed candidate, obviously category 8. And so Squall's text reads, if either player has 2 cards or less in their hands, Squall gains haste. If both of you and your opponent have no cards in hand, Squall gains first strike, brave, and Squall can attack twice in the same turn. And then when Squall attacks, this is separate to having the no cards in hand. It's just a straight ability. When Squall attacks, deal 4k damage to all the forwards opponent's controls. And when Squall is blocked, deal 4k damage to all the forwards opponent controls. A lot of text there. Mitch, do you want to lead out on Squall?
I just think it'd be better, seeing as Squall is one of your favourite characters, and so is FF8. I think it'd be better if you actually led for this
really?
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'll lead on Squall.
On.
So, I mean, it's a very strong card, isn't it? I haven't really thought this through about where to put everything. I think this was going to go A tier. I think I'll put Squall in the S tier, so straight in S tier. I think just all the text reads very nice. 4k on attack, 4k if they're blocked, so they're probably not going to block him. Probably that middle text about everyone having no cards in hand. I mean, it's quite nice if you sort of set up in like a fire ice sort of discard. Probably not going to focus too much on that one. I think without it, it's good enough. We sort of like the haste ability down to 2. That's not that impractical. And yeah, just I think it's quality. I'm slightly disappointed with the art. I know that annoys some people. I'm not a big fan of the Amano art. I like some of them. Most of them I don't like. This one I don't like at all. I've always wanted a Squall card to either be really good and have really good art, and we've never had the combination. And unfortunately for me, it's as far as we've got a good card but not good art. Other than that, I think it's banging. S tier. I think this will go in. If you're playing fire, you're going to run at least one space for this, even if you're like going down a completely other avenue. Yeah, I think so. We've got a searcher for it, obviously, with the EX Burst selfie, which can search seed candidates. So that's cool because fire doesn't have masses of search out. So yeah, all very good. I don't understand why everyone's throwing food at them at the party. But I don't remember that.
A food fight going on.
Yeah, it does look like he's kind of trying to he's grabbed her. So maybe that's why. Maybe in the original he kidnaps. I assume it's Renoa. I don't know. There's nothing.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be their dance, isn't it?
It's meant to be the dance, yeah. But why there's a mass food fight, I do not know. But
I mean, they're also both blonde, so I'm not even sure it is Squall.
It's just some random dude in the background, really.
Yeah. It might be Squall throwing the food.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe she's
maybe
she was sat eating her. She was having her dinner at the table. She just come in and upheavaled everything, and it's just all flying everywhere. But yeah, so we all agreed S tier all round for Squall.
Nope.
Go on then, Vin.
I just think it's pretty much the same as the Opus, is it 6 one or whatever, the ice one, except it's got some fire bells and whistles on it. That's all really. I mean, it's not a bad card, but I've put it in B for me. So yeah.
B.
That's interesting.
Yeah, B.
Mitch, are you? I imagine are you falling in between S and B? Or?
No. So for the first effect, because it's either player, you can easily just adapt your hand just to drop down to 2 cards. So this card will always have haste, as far as I'm concerned. It's so easy just to, like, if you want that card to just have haste, just ditch 2 and play this card, even first turn. Well, maybe a backup or something like that first turn. I forgot you draw a card on your first turn. It's been so long since I played. But
We literally played Saturday, Mitch. What are you talking about?
yeah, but I didn't draw on my first turn all those games. And then you got the second effect. As I said, I think that is limited to ice fire. But as I said, it's a very strong effect. It's because of the when it's blocked as well as when it attacks. It basically reads this card is unblockable because it will do 8k to the board. There's cards that can make this, like that new fire monster. Who's 2-drop, that means fire does 1,000 more. So if that's on the field as well, this does 10k to your board if it's ever blocked, and nothing is ever going to block. Like, you can get stuff that survives it, but then this also has like first strike and everything like that. I just don't see you ever blocking it. So as I said, essentially to me it reads unblockable. So I think I agree with Tom, and I think I'm going to put it in S.
This is a strong start for Squall. No, I think I normally rate things extra if they have like a bit more versatility. So, not just limited to like a particular deck or something. So I think that this does that because obviously it's a mono fire card. It's a fire ice card. It could be a fire water card. You can combine that board ping with some of the like power reduction attack effects we've got. Things like that. I think it's very versatile. You could even fire lightning in it. It goes in everything really. So I think that gives it plus points. So yeah, I just think it's very thing. I think you'll get played a lot as well. I think fire will be near the top of the meta.
With Amaterasu, it's always going to be up there, I think.
Fire wind, yeah, Tom. Fire wind.
Fire wind could be a thing. Yeah, we'll get to wind later. Let's keep it pleasant for now. Yeah. I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah, right. Well done, Squall. Just next time, give us no Amano, please. Right. Fire Legend number 2 is Luso. So Mitch, you will be leading on this one. So you ditched out your first go. So Luso, I'll read the effects for everyone. So 6 cost forward, 5,000 power, FFTA2. He's a clan gully member, and at the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, if you have received 5 points of damage or less, shuffle your deck, then reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a fire character, you may play it onto the field. And then at damage 6, at the beginning of the attacks phase, during each of your turns, you may search for 1 fire character and play it onto the field. Go for it, Mitch.
I actually think this card's pretty good. Like at the beginning of the attack phase, it says you reveal the top card, and if you're playing Monofire, you're always going to hit. As long as it's not a summon, you're always going to hit something. Which means, and as long as it's not a character you've already got. So it has weaknesses in that you can just be unlucky, and while it is a strong card and I can see the strength of it, it does come with weaknesses. If you pay 6 and then the next card you reveal is a Luso, you've paid 6 for nothing essentially. But it is either player's turn, so that is quite strong. It's easy to kill, which like for 5k, but it's normally if you're playing against another fire deck that they can do the 5k ping. They can overspend. The only, as I said, and the 6 damage, it's strong, but as I said, it's 6 damage. I'd be very surprised if you ever get to that game. Like, knowing that this card exists, you don't really see the 6 damage anymore. Normally it's 5 and then dead or something like that. My big problem with the card though is that it's in mono fire and it's going to be competing with Tenzin. And I think Tenzin is a better card than this because everyone's playing Samurais if you're playing mono fire. You get the odd ones that aren't, and maybe this is a better card for that. But for the most part, Samurais are the best ones. They even got a new Samurai this set. I don't see this replacing Tenzin. Maybe you run both, but I don't know. I've put it in B, but I think it's more because of what it has to compete against than it being a bad card.
Ben, have you got anything to add or even disagree with on that one?
No, I don't think it's a good early card game. Definitely not. Like Tenzin is good early, whereas this is better later in the game. But yeah, nothing else really to add apart from that. I put it in C, but only because I've already put one in B for fire, so I feel mean putting them both in C.
Yeah. No, so I went B as well with this one. I remember when it was first revealed, I really didn't rate it at all. But it's sort of grown on me a little bit. The only thing I'd add with this, if fire is meta, it's B or C. If fire creeps out of the main meta, I think it goes up to like an A, because I think fire will deal with this so easily. If you go all in early, I know Ben, you don't think it's an early card, and I sort of agree with you. It's a risky early card. If you go all in on this early, they'll just pop it with like a, those 1 CP Ifrits and stuff like that. It's not good. But if fire sort of creeps out of the meta, then I think it will rise up a little bit. But saying
The only reason... Go on.
No, as I say, if wind's going to be meta, it's got the ping anyway. So
yeah. The only reason I say it's an early card is because I just think because you don't know what the top card of your deck is going to be, the better it is earlier on, because then you're not going to have a character that's already on the field. So the later this card goes, the more chance say you've got, I don't know, a Saz or something like that down, you might reveal another Saz in your deck, because obviously you want to set up and play this off of more backups and minimise the loss. But then you also might hit something. The only thing that I can, as I said, that I can think that would be okay is if you revealed a Samurai, because most of them are multiplay, but then Tenzin's better. So as I said, that's the sort of logic I'm going down. Like, you got the Geomancers and stuff like that, but I don't know how many standard units.
I suppose it doesn't have a restriction of the cost of the card that it plays onto the field as well. It's quite good.
I mean, as I said,
there's some broken things, like if you reveal like a BFA or something, or even a Tenzin.
Luso into Tenzin.
Losing Tenzin, you're laughing. Yeah, the BFA, like even like that 8-cost Zande, you could put that because of the damage 6 searching. Like if you can, even if you do it early, it's not bad. But like if you're late game and you Luso into, and then you search out a Zande and suddenly pull back another 3 forwards, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be quite. There's different applications for it. I just think you need to find the place.
Yeah.
It's not as obvious as Tenzin where you just slap it down and.
No, it's a very high roll card.
It's high roll. But I think that's why you have to adapt it and not read it for exactly what it is on the card, and you have to sort of be a bit more sort of tactical with how you're building around it, and then I think it will get stronger. So yeah, it is interesting. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. So that BBC. BBC. Very good. Right, let's move on then. Doing good time. Right, so into ice. Actually, Mitch, you would normally lead on ice, but I'll pass this one to Ben. So this is Cloud of Darkness. Ben, you get the pleasure of leading on this one. So Cloud of Darkness.
This one's easy.
3 CP.
Absolutely terrible.
Well, let me read it first. 3 CP, 7k forward. When Job Wraith category is FF3. When Cloud of Darkness enters the field, you may pay 2 crystals. When you do so, choose one forward opponent controls, remove it from the game. As long as Cloud of Darkness is on the field, your opponent cannot play any copies of the removed card. And then damage 3, Cloud of Darkness gains 2000 power. Go for it, Ben.
I mean, I said to Mitch earlier on that I think all of these legends are like underpowered. Like for the last X amount of opuses, we've had legends that have been getting stronger and stronger, and then these ones are all like on par with like how they were in the first 10 opuses. And Mitch then pointed out that this one does get plus 2000 power, so I was proved very wrong. But yeah, this card is trash. This is so bad. This doesn't deserve to be an L. I mean, maybe it's an L because of the artwork and people thought that the breasts might be a bit alluring, so they gave it an extra boost. I don't know. But yeah.
I think on C, right?
For me.
C.
Definitely C for me, yeah.
Okay, Mitch, do you want to... So, Mitch, you're sort of traditionally... Not really a traditional ice player, but you do like to dabble in ice. You always want to make ice great. Seems to be like one of your FFTCG goals. So have you got any redeeming features for Cloud of Darkness?
No, this is not the card that's going to make ice good. This card is dog shit. I always like when it comes to crystals. Everyone always compares them to 2 CP. So if we do that, a 7 cost, 2 CP. Sorry, a 7 cost forward at 7k, even at 9k. Like you're comparing that to say Sephiroth, Amaru, and Amaru is infinitely a better card. It puts it to the bottom of the deck and does stuff as like afterwards. Sephiroth discards 2. I don't think that's as good anymore, but it's like I'll probably even play that over this. This is if it was, it might even be better if it says your opponent can't play the card name of what the removed is, but because it's just that specific code, certain like what happens if they're only running one of that card or something like that, or they just remove it. Like it's cost so much to play, even with the crystal. Like the crystals make this too much. Maybe if it was a pay 1 crystal, I think this would be better. But to be fair, it'd be a real good card if it was just no crystals. So I think if you paid 1 crystal, it'd be, I'd say, fair. But I just at two crystals, it's just too much, and it's just. I don't think it should be a legend, to be honest. I can't see. I think there's better cards that could have been a legend.
We can't all have wind legends though. Can't have 4 wind legends.
No, we can't have 4 wind legends. So yeah, this is, as I said, and what's worse is the way it's worded is because you pay your 2 crystals and then you get your auto to remove something. You like Amaterasu can just make them pay the 2 crystals. They've lost the 2 crystals and then they kill it. And it's just like, okay, well, I've lost basically everything on this one card. So I said this is C, bottom of the barrel. Well,
yeah,
there's one more that's worse. There's one more that's bottom of. Yeah, but
you've been baited us all day about your. I've got one that's worse, so we don't know what it is. So I'm eager to hear how bad it's going to be. But yeah, no, for this was C for me as well. I think you've nailed it with that 2 crystal thing. It was a bit weird as well because during spoiler season we didn't see any crystal stuff. And some people were asking like, "Oh, what happened to is the crystal mechanic gone now?" Like, and we were sure, "Oh no, there's stuff coming. Don't worry." And we have got some really good crystal stuff amongst the later end of the set that got revealed with the full set release yesterday or the day before. But this is not one of them. The 2 crystal for like even then it's fairly underwhelming. I mean, yeah, ice doesn't have much of this sort of remove from game break stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's good removal for ice. It's just they feel like they need to make the player pays basically 7 for it, and it's just I think the game's evolved enough now that they said I'd consider this paying 1 crystal for this, and then it'd be an okay card.
Yeah, and at 7k as well, like you said, Ben said it's underpowered. You know, this is a card that's got an ability that, you know, is based on her staying on the field, yet she's still quite easy to remove. It's not like, whereas all the previous, like the more recent stuff we've seen when they've had these sort of lingering threats that you have to remove, they've been difficult to kill because they're either overpowered per cost or they've got some kind of inbuilt protection or, you know, that kind of thing. And this doesn't have anything. It's just a bit strange. Yeah. It's a shame because these Kobayashi arts are really cool. I think he's done the Garland and Amaterasu as well. I think actually it's got this really cool like sort of comic book style, which is awesome, and it's just oh well.
Yeah.
But I will add that Rich says he's got a plan for this card, so
Rich.
If anyone can make Calamity. It good, it might be Rich. Okay.
Yeah, and while he does, we'll look forward to the 3 wins.
Oh yeah, 3 wins.
No, Rich is very confident. He really likes this one. He says he's got a plan for it. He likes to play around damage 5, so he really likes the damage effects. So you can sort of get really ahead with Rich and think you've got it in the bag, and then he sort of comes to life at the later end. So maybe he's got something. We'll I'm not going to doubt him, but I'll have to see it first. But cool. Okay, we shall move on. So who did Cloud of Darkness? That was Ben, wasn't it? I'll let Mitch. You can have Santoto because I know you're loving this one. So Santoto, this is the other ice legend. So another Santoto. and another element as well. So Santoto, a 4-cost, 8,000 powered forward. Job mage, category is Dissidia and 11. So if your opponent has 1 card or less in their hand, the cost required to cast Santoto is reduced by 3. So it's Santoto, isn't it? When Santoto enters the field, choose 1 character other than card named Santoto in your break zone and add it to your hand. Then it's got an action ability which is pay 1 crystal and 1 of anything. Oh, sorry, pay 1 ice and 1 anything and a crystal. Remove Santoto from your hand. Oh, sorry, remove Santoto in your hand from the game. Dull all the forwards opponent controls. You can only use this ability if Santoto is in your hand. Mitch, it's over to you.
I really like this card, like a lot. I mean, and I think it's because it's in ice. Like the reduce, make it a 1 cost is basically ice wants to discard, so it should be a 1 cost a lot of the time. I think there's getting recurring just any character back as well is such a good effect, like one that not a lot of elements have. Like it's just choose any character. So as I said, and it doesn't need to be ice. It doesn't need to be anything other than like it doesn't need to, as I said it. I really there's no limits on what that is. It doesn't have to be about a certain CP cost. And I think but the big thing that I really like about this is the pay 1 ice, pay 1 anything, and a crystal, because there'll be a lot of the times when your opponent will either, like if they're playing ice or something like that, they'll dole your board, or they'll go for the kill and think, do you know what, I've got this. They'll like, or if you say you've attacked and then they'll be like, right, I'll swing back. This card is always going to be in your opponent's back of their mind now, because if they swing with everything and then you're like, no, just dole everything, they need to stop that. Or if like they go to end their turn and then you dole everything, they're like, oh, what? Like I said, it's always going to be there, like the sort of something that someone's always going to have to think about, because it's so strong. If your opponent has a crystal, you're going to have to watch out for that. Oh, I'm playing. To be fair, I'm not even sure they need to play ice. That's how good I think this card is. Like, if you could say like a fire water deck, and then you got the Sarah to tap for ice, and then you get a crystal. I think this is good enough to run just from that.
Almost like a crystal-based summon.
Yeah, I said I just think that ability of just dulling your opponent's forwards at any time, and all of them as well, just do that at their main end phase. It's just crazy strong to me. So I really like it. So that said, it's not.
Say you putting this in S or?
That said, it's not as good as Squall, and it's not good as another card that's coming up. So A tier. But it was very close to that or Squall. So as I said, I'm very on board with this card, but because it's ice, it has to go down a rung. So as I said, I'll put it in A for now.
Ben, where are you putting this one?
I've put it in B. Yeah, like Mitch said, the cost reduction's good, and getting the card back is really good. But yeah, no, it's ice. So yeah, no. Plus, also there's the Opus 1 Auron that does exactly the same as her ability, and it's a special for Auron, and you don't have to remove the Auron from the game. But people are banging on about this one, and it's like, but there's Opus 1 Auron that does exactly the same thing.
Opus 1 Auron.
Oh, the backup. So not FF10 Auron, the Oran. So ORR.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Took me a second there as well. I was thinking, have I missed a?
There's an Auron.
Oh my goodness, that's my best man. But yeah, actually, he will get like mercilessly trolled and memed if you suggest playing that card.
Exactly, and now everyone's going, oh, but Santoto can dull all your opponent's swords. And I'm like, there's already a card that does that though in ice, and nobody plays it.
Yeah, but this is like this. That seems more like a mono ice card, because it seems like it's very like you'd have to dull yourself, pay 1 ice and discard an ice and a special, so you're paying essentially 6 for that. Whereas this is you pay 2 and a crystal, so you're 4. I suppose you are
discarding a Santoto, which is 6. So it's
But-
the same cost as I just said.
But it's less obvious than this, because the crystal you'll have it just because. This one you'll have to leave your backups up, so it just affects your turn more than anything. So if you had this down, and your opponent sees that you've got it down, they'll do something to stop that. They'll have like a counter to it. Whereas this one, because this is in your hand, they'll have to just worry about it the whole time. Like if you're if they dole Auron, you're like, okay, well I'm fine then. Whereas this with Santoto, it's not, because it can be just in their hand at all times.
And they might think you're saving crystals for COD. Maybe we should have rated Cloud of Darkness higher. We should have put her as S tier so everyone fears the crystals. And then it's good. It's all good. I'm not worried about that. And then you double Santoto.
I'll tell you now, no one is going to be thinking about COD.
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe not while you're playing the game. Maybe other times.
So yeah, I've put it in B as well, actually. Yeah, I'm not bang in the middle. I'm not really either way, but I appreciate the text on it has got some like sort of spiciness to it. And I think you're right, Mitch, with your sort of saying about other elements, because obviously they could have put this as pay 2 ice, but putting that extra 1 of anything, it makes you think they're thinking of similar things where you can slot this into other areas. So I'm putting it B purely because I know Mitch is going to wreck me with this, because he will have all sorts of like funky strategies with this, and I'm just going to forever see Santoto coming through.
Well, one of the strategies as soon as I saw this card, is if your opponent has got one in hand, you can play this down. You get a realm, which is Opus 15 realm. Play the realm down, bounce the Santoto, and you can either play the Santoto down and get another card back, or you can use it to dole all opponent's characters, because you gain a crystal off of that realm as well. So, as I said, there's so many things because of that card cost reduction. I think it's just a very strong card in general.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is with, spoiler alert, we think wind is going to be quite prevalent in this current run. So, they're not too worried about you dulling the board, because they're all just going to stand up anyway. So that's something to consider as well. Sort of reduces the power of the Santoto a little bit, but
it doesn't choose. So...
No, it doesn't choose. You're right. It doesn't. I just mean they can sort of activate fairly easily on tap anyway. So cool. Okay. Speaking of which, we are now into the wind territory. So the first wind legend is Wahl. Ben, do you want Wahl? I'll read it out for you. So 5 cost.
Not really.
Wind 9k. Forward, he's a warrior of dawn, category Mobius, and there's a lot of text here. So the cost required to cast Wahl is reduced by 1 for each character of cost 5 or more you control, cannot become 0. The forwards of cost 5 or more other than Wahl you control gain. This forward cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. And then when you cast a character of cost 5 or more, draw 1 card. This effect will trigger only once per turn. Does anyone want to take Wahl? Ben, you go for it. Go
on. My main problem with this bloke is what is that job? Warrior of Dawn? That is ridiculous. Why isn't he a Dawn warrior or a warrior of light? Just choose one of them, not like mix it up.
I mean, I've not played Mobius. I don't know how sort of lore friendly this is. But I'm assuming they probably feel it's too broken to put it in the relative category.
I mean, yeah, put it in it. I mean, put it in a Dawn Warrior deck then. Give them a Dawn Warrior. They don't get any play at the moment.
They all cost 5 as well, aren't they? The Dawn Warriors.
Some of them are, yeah. Or 6, yeah. But the category Mobius thing's good for him, because the other category Mobius ones with the old. What was the one in the last set? That was a Wahl as well, wasn't it? That
played for free, yeah. So you got the name clash there.
I think that's why it works.
The Mobius search is in Wind as well, I think.
Yeah.
Or is it Earth?
No, Mobius is in
the
Wind.
Search is Wind, but it's got Earth backups, hasn't it? Like Mog Mobius and stuff. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, Echo. That's right.
Yeah, the abilities things are pretty handy for full Mobius, like we just said, but I don't overly rate him. Although I do, but I'm very confused on this one.
So where are you putting him? It's B or
Well,
C? Or...
A obviously, because he's a Wahl. He's a Wahl.
He's a
and
Wahl.
he's
Ben's a Wahl man. I mean, I'm happy to go next on this. I've put him in C, and it's not because I hate wind. Because yes, for disclaimer, I do hate wind in general. Just one, I don't enjoy playing wind cards, but also I don't really like them as an element. I think they get a bit too much, and they sort of their identity is they have everything, rather than every other element has like sort of a specific identity where wind just gets everything. My things with this Wahl, it all reads very well. It's all very strong stuff. It's not really how I like the game to go in terms of abilities. So forwards of cost 5 get the cannot be chosen by opponent summons or abilities, and you draw cards off them. It's just all a bit bland. And like, what is it protecting? It's protecting Neo X Death, which has inbuilt protection. It's protecting Braska's Final Aeon, which has inbuilt protection. Like, all the big cards now have inbuilt protection anyway, and this is just, the people are going to use it are going to use it in sort of those oppressive decks where you're playing out these sort of oppressive forwards, and then you're now making them untargetable, so it's even harder to kill them. It doesn't constitute a fun game for me. I don't really see the point of it. So I mean, it is strong, it's good, but I just don't like it, so that's why I'm putting in C. Mitch, you can finish off.
I don't know. It's a weird one, this one. Like, it definitely can be a strong card, but I think it's one of those ones that you build your deck around. It's not one that fits in a current deck or anything like that. It's you play. I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly going to be in Earth because they have the best cost reductions as well. So like Star Sybil will trigger this even though it costs 3. A Puru and stuff like that will all trigger it because, as I said, their base cost is reduced. So that's where I see it going. And I said, if you play something down like a Star Sybil, you draw a card and you search. That's strong. Like, once per turn. I think that's really strong. And there's stuff like Luminous Puma and stuff like that. Like, you're just adding more value. The protection that can't be chosen and stuff like that. To be honest, I always get it wrong. I'm thinking that they can't be broken, which would be a lot harder to deal with. But it just means that cards like Squall and stuff, and ones that actually have the board clears, they're going to be more valuable because they'll hit everything while not choosing. And if this card becomes good, Squall becomes good, and other cards like that, like a Fina or something like that. If Fina comes in, play it down, Athea it back, and then play Fina again, do not 10k to the board. That's like a big thing. So, as I said, I think this is going to be a set of just board clears because of cards like this, but I don't know if that makes it a good card to run. So I said I've been very I'm in an errand about this card because I think it goes in a deck that hasn't been made yet. So I've put it in B for now, and it might be better. It might be like a real good card, but I'll be honest. I think if it becomes a good card, it's going to be because of the other Wind Legend.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's not much more to say on this card. It's pretty bland, and cool. Okay, let's move straight into Cecil then. Mitch, you can lead on Cecil. Ben, if there's anything you really want to lead on, just jump in because I know. I know what you can do. You can lead on the Earth guy.
Sure there is anything, but yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Cecil. So his 5 cost 8k forward. So he's job Paladin, Dissidia, and Category 4. So when Cecil enters the field, you may play 1 character of cost 4 or less from your hand onto the field. When it enters the field, if it is a Category 4 character, choose up to 2 backups and activate them. And when 1 or more of your characters you control are chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities, if your opponent doesn't pay 2, cancel their effects. Crack on,
Yeah.
Mitch.
Yeah. Like, this is a good card. S. Done.
I it is like I'm spoiler. I am gonna just rate it S. It's such a good card. I think it's too good. Like, as I said with Wahl, you need non-targeted removal now, and this is probably going to be the main reason why. Is because this card is so strong. It's, to me, it can pretty much single-handedly shut down aggro decks. It stops fire with bit pings, which I really dislike. Like, I know, like, and there's also things like edge
You dislike
as well.
Do you dislike ping decks, or you dislike the fact it shuts them down?
I dislike the fact that it shuts them down. So, like I said, because if you do 5k and then another 5k, you're paying 4 extra on top of what you've already paid. I think that's just unfair, really. I said there's edge that you can choose Cecil, pay the 2. Edge will make trigger making that ability choose edge, and then Cecil will trigger again, and you have to pay 2. You have to pay 4 for situations like that. And it's an
Dexter here again.
Yeah, and it's an FF4 card, so that's going to happen again. You can do it with, like, I think there's a backup at AMO or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Where you transfer the target.
Yeah, that again, that can happen. Like, there are things that can make that happen, and this magnifies the ability of it because it said you have to pay 2 again because it's choosing a new target. And
then they can pay all that, and then you just play the Aerith Planet Protector anyway, and then laugh in their face.
Yeah, exactly. And they said, like, it goes through, like, they've paid the 2, and then you're like, no, I'll just Althea it back to hand, or something like that, or Chocobo back to hand. As I said, Wind has already had protection in its element, and this just seems like it's unnecessary. So, I think I saw someone on Alex Hancock's stream, and he literally said, the set is not even out, and he's already sick of Cecil. And I completely agree with him. I think this card, like, I know there's a lot of cards that bring fear when this set is revealed. It's like, oh, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to do that? But I can see ways of dealing with it. I still don't like it because of it. I think it's the strongest legend in this set by a mile. Just because of what it can do. Like, it's that bottom effect. Like, if it just played a character 4 less, that'd be fine. Like, activates backups, whatever. But as I said, it's that bottom effect really worries me. So, yeah.
I mean, I was saying earlier to you before we started, there's very few cards that have the character text rather than either a forward or a backup.
Yeah.
And this has it twice. So it's got you play a character and also protects every character on your board. It includes Cecil as well. So it protects himself. I mean, would you play this with Wahl? Just for, like, extra? I don't think you...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it kind of goes with it because it's the 5 cost and it reduces the other one, so...
It just means that
Wahl
needs
space,
to be targeted.
You just... Wahl needs to be targeted, and you've got to pay again to...
Yeah.
I don't know if people will go quite that levels. I don't think you'll need to with Wind where it's at. But no, I think you summarised it well. Clearly this is an S tier card. It's one of the strongest cards that's going to be around. I just agree with you. I think it doesn't need to be this strong, and also it coming into Wind, it doesn't need to go into Wind. This could have gone into a different element, and it instantly sort of balances it a bit better. The fact it's in Wind, I think it's just going to tilt it over the edge. I think it's a bit like when we had the Sophie. Even though Sophie was very specific, this is much more generic. The Sophie was a card that was way stronger than everything else that came out at that time, and the meta suffered because of it, because Sophie just sort of dominated the meta and they had to restrict it. This feels like, to a similar extent, it could be slightly worse because it's even more powerful in some aspects. And I don't think it needs to exist really.
I think it just shuts down aggro, and I understand that aggro is becoming stronger and more dominant, and maybe they want to hold it back. But I feel like this card can almost just single-handedly shut it down.
It can shut down a lot of things. It's similar to what I said with the Wahl. I didn't like the Wahl. I don't like that sort of design element where it's just a case of, oh, okay, you can't play the game now. I'm just going to play this card, and it means you can't play the game properly. And this is a similar thing, but also it's just accelerating you so much ahead. So I mean, for that reason, I'm going to put it in C, just out of protest. It's not a protest against wind, because I get it. Wind is a strong element. It's got lots of stuff. Just the general design and necessity of putting it. We've had we haven't had a chance to play very much, and the meta, maybe that's a result. The meta has been very varied. We've seen tournaments going on. There's lots of different types of decks, and everyone's having a great time with all these decks. And now we finally get the tournaments back, and we've got there's other wind characters which I think are going to be problematic as well, and maybe we might get a chance to talk about later on, maybe in the next podcast. There's lots of wind things that are going to be slightly problematic for people. I think it's just going to ruin the Opus, because it's going to be a wind dominated meta. You're going to struggle. You're going to have to focus on, if you're not playing wind, of getting rid of this stuff. And I think it's just going to narrow things down. I think it's a bit of a shame that it's come at this just as we've got the tournaments back for me. So my protest C. It's not because it's a bad card. It's just because I don't like it, because it clearly is, as Bitch said, S tier. Ben, where have you put it?
I haven't. No, yeah, I've put it in S. Yeah,
you put it in S. Yeah,
obviously S. Yeah, but the only thing I would add is that he is 5 CP and he is 8k power. Again, he's underpowered, which seems to be a theme of this set.
Yeah, granted that he is you can Amaterasu him, that is the one saving thing, but
you have to pay to use it. But but it doesn't target, so
it wouldn't target him, so you wouldn't have to.
Oh, true. Yeah,
you wouldn't have to pay that, I guess, but you just got to hope you got it, because this is going to be coming early. There's no downside to playing this early, really. Like we said with Luso, it's a bit of a risk. You can go ham on this, can't you? And fun times. Cool. All right. Let's move on then. Okay, Aerith. So we're into Earth now. This was one of the first ones, I think, that was spoiled in the card of the weeks. So this is Aerith. So she's in Earth now. Has she been in Earth before? She's been Wind and Light, hasn't she? I don't think she's been in anything else. Yeah, so Aerith is in Wind as a 2 CP, 5k forward. Job Ancient. Category 7, obviously. So this has got a lot of text as well. Apologise. So the forwards other than Aerith you control gain 2,000 power. When Aerith is put from the field into the break zone, you may remove Aerith from the game. When you do so, place 3 ReRaise counters on Aerith. At the beginning of main phase 1 during each of your turns, if 1 or more ReRaise counters are placed on Aerith, remove 1 ReRaise counter from Aerith. Then, if there are no ReRaise counters on Aerith, play Aerith onto the field. This effect will only trigger if Aerith is removed from the game. Well, that's a lot to read. Who wants to take Aerith?
I mean,
you
shall I do this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know.
Boring. Actually boring.
I just don't know. It's C tier, I'm afraid. Which is it's just strange for an FF7 legend. Particularly Aerith are consistently good, aren't they? Just maybe a few opuses ago this would have been really good. I just don't see it. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, but given everything else, 2,000 power, I don't think is a particularly big deal. Or maybe, I don't know. But yeah, she gets killed quite easily because she's a bit of a nothing forward, and then you got to wait 3 turns for her to come back. If you're against a wind deck, you're probably dead by then anyway, and they're probably going to Zidane all your best cards in those 3 turns and play them against you. I don't quite see it. It doesn't. It's a weird. I just don't see what makes it legendary. I might be just completely proved wrong, and I'm completely missing something. But I just don't really see it for this one. I mean, does anyone have any Does anyone understand it or want to tell me how good it is?
No.
So
I think.
Is this your one that you said is the worst one in the set?
No.
Okay,
No, this isn't.
Okay.
No, it's the most boring one in the set for sure. It's I've rated it C because first of all it's boring, and that always puts me off cards. But secondly, I can't work out how many you run of this. Like you can search it, which is like so easily in Earth, but I don't know if you'd want to waste a search on it. But it's a real weird card in that you play it down, and then if it gets killed, you don't want to play another one down because Aerith's coming back.
Can't bring it back. Yeah.
So you don't want to run through of it. So you only want to run one, but you don't want to search it because it's not that good. All you do is get 2,000 power. So it's if you draw it, it's okay. You just play it down. But I don't know. I just think it's a real. I mean, as I said, it's unique, but unique doesn't mean interesting. So it helps with Titan, like getting over certain powers and stuff like that. But as I said, I just think it's
going to kill it anyway, isn't it?
It's going to kill Aerith, but then Aerith come back. Yeah,
maybe in an Avalanche deck. I suppose I didn't really consider the Avalanche deck, giving everything 2k, and that's not bad. 'Cause they've all got haste, but then they can't be broken anyway if you've got bigs and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll help.
Aerith's trying to come back onto the field, and Aerith's already on the field. What happens is the effect fizzle.
Just fizzles. Yeah, you take the counter off, and it will never come back again because it tries to resolve. It's a bit like when we had the Kadaj situation. So it will try to resolve, and it can't because Aerith is on the field. So then it just becomes like a null and void card, and just sits out of the game forever.
It won't be forever though, will it? Because it will be next turn. It will then trigger again, won't it?
No, because I've checked this with the Twitter, and they said it's a conditional auto, so it needs to have a counter to trigger to remove to bring her back.
Oh, so you got to remove the counter to trigger the. Have you got any counters on it?
Yeah. So because I always thought like if you played Hero Yuna, and then you could just remove it, and then it comes back next turn, and I thought actually that's quite a nice combo, but. No, that as I said, because it's a conditional auto, they need to have the counter on it to remove it to play it down. So without a counter, it just stays there. So as I said, it's boring and weird at best.
Have you rated it any higher than C?
No, I gave it a C.
You gave it a C.
I gave it a C.
You gave it a C. I've just realised I'm out of C slots because of my wind protest, which is bad. This is not
protest.
As boring as Wahl. It wasn't a dead protest. I just say it's a boring protest. It's not as boring as Wahl. It's got like some kind of spice to it, but yeah.
No, I'd say it's the other around. I'd prefer to play Wahl over this Aerith, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be a more fun deck because you've had all the the cost 5 stuff going on. That's a bit more of an interesting concept, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, no, very strange, but maybe there's some hidden sort of thing that we're not seeing. But
yeah, maybe.
It does feel like a weird one, which is a shame because I do like Earth, and we're now going to move on to the next Earth legend.
And you have
so not to say we've not say we've wasted 2 slots, but go on then, Ben. I know you're quite keen on this one. So this is Kirin. Oh, sorry, I need to read it out. I don't know. So this is Kirin, 6 CP forward, 9,000 power, category 11. He's a job Kirin. He has Brave. Kirin cannot become dull by your opponent's summons or abilities. The job Shinjin forwards you control gain 1,000 power. And when Kirin enters the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Play 1 forward of cost 4 among them onto the field, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So Ben, do you want to lead out on this?
Yes, I would definitely do that. This card is trash. I know you expect me to say it's good, but it's just. I mean, if you look at the other jobs that it powers up, they're all underpowered as well. So the 1k is needed. So why not just give them the 1k power extra already, and then not have that line of text there? Stupid, you know. The best thing about it is that he does play a forward of cost 4 among them onto the field, but it has to be cost 4. It can't be 3 or less. It can't be or more. It's just why it's terrible. The best thing about it is it can't become dull. And I know one person that will really annoy, but that's about it. It's awful. It's terrible. This is
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird because the Shinjins. Maybe I don't know. Again, I don't know 11 well enough. Maybe we'll have to ask Rich. But I don't know if there's more Shinjins that will come, which will sort of make this suddenly really good. But the ones we've got now, they don't really do anything, do they? They add each other. They add one to hand. They don't really do anything else.
You can play each other without having to play the right element as well.
Yeah, so they're CP.
The
CP barrier is removed, but other than that, they don't do anything. But, I mean, to me, the Mwari, Mortzi Swari members are way more interesting, and their leader would be a more interesting legend than this. It just doesn't feel like another one. 2 Earth legends, they don't feel like legends to me. It's very strange. I don't think anyone is going to play a Shinjin deck seriously.
I mean, I'm not going to build a Shinjin. I might put him in a deck, but it's not going to be with the other Shinjins. So
he looks cool. The art's cool. I don't know.
But also he does, and the Shinjins should be monsters, so that's a bit of a negative for me as well.
He could have had an interesting monster deck then, couldn't you? But no. Mitch, do you have any? So Ben's gone C. I'm guessing you're going C.
I am.
That's your last. Your last C slot gone.
Yeah, it's not my last.
I know you've got one left.
And this is
Is this the one?
No, this isn't the one.
Oh wow. Okay.
This
You're gonna have to give us a klaxon when it's the one. So
you'll know. This card, I've tried to see what's good about it. I mean, it's 11. You can Star Siblet. That's about it, really. It's just if you get 2 forwards off of it, it's also an FF11 Earth card, not called Santoto. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It's, as Ben said, it's crap.
what was that? So you could put it in the Rampair. You could Rampair it in.
Yeah, but then also you don't run a lot of 4 costs in that. In the old version, at least, you never used to run a lot of 4 costs because the 9-drop Santoto got 3 or less, and then everything else broke a backup.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know why it has to be 4. Why couldn't it be 4 or less? Because then you could move outside of the Shinjins.
Yeah, or less. This card's so much better.
This is a hero card, isn't it? Because it's category job related, and I don't think anyone would complain. I still don't think anyone would play it. You might have a fun game with the Shinjins, but it just feels another waste of a legend, unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's worth trying, but to have to, if you reveal, people used to do the maths on this and used to have certain cards, but revealing 5, how many 4 costs you need to make it has to be forward as well, actually, doesn't it? So how many forwards would you need to make sure that you don't whiff? I don't know, but I imagine it's going to be quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've run many decks like that, and I would say they'd all have to be 4-drop or less.
You've got to really go for it. Oh, Kian. So this is the one I know I'm going to get out of my box as well. I'm going to have loads of these.
The art's nice. I really like the art.
It's cool. And one foil will be okay, but yeah. Okay, we'll move on then because there's no point dwelling on this one. A weird one. If you've got a good Shinji deck, then by all means, I want to see it do well, but I can't see it.
Yeah, hit us up with it and I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move into Lightning then. So Black Waltz 3, the first Lightning one, which is 3 drop 7k forward, category 9. Black Mage job. So when Black Waltz 3 is discarded from your hand due to an ability, choose 1 forward, deal it 4,000 damage. When Black Waltz 3 is put from the field into the break zone, choose up to 2 job Black Mage other than card name Black Waltz 3 in the break zone, add them to hand. And then it's got a 0 cost action ability, which is discard 1 job Black Mage from your hand. When you do so, choose one forward of cost 3 or less opponent controls and break it. Mitch, you're the FF9 man. Your favourite game? Go for it.
Yeah. I don't think this card's too bad. I think it's I've tried it and I've messed around with it a little bit, just and I think as a discard a black mage, break something like break 3 or less. It's a pretty good card. I'd say it's more of I feel like it's more of an aggro card than anything. Like with just from the testing I've done, it obviously you could make a fire ice lightning deck, but aggros tends to want to stick to two colors maybe. So you've got the VV in this element, and you've got a Black Waltz 2, I think it is, in fire, and Black Waltz 1 in ice, and you've got a Porum that's either fire or ice. So you can go either way, and I think the better way for it is to go for ice lightning, because I said you've got the Porum that helps with the discard, and you can also, because it's an ability, it also triggers on these Black Waltzes. So as I said, I think it's and also as I said, this one gets 2 job Black Mages back when it dies, so it's it's pretty nice. I don't know. I just think it's just missing something, and I think it was that. I get that they needed to be in different elements because as I said, it's like all the thematics and everything like that, but I don't know. I think that's actually really hampered it. So, but VV does help this deck. So I've put it in A for now, and hopefully it's better than that, but I don't see it being.
Ben, this is quite a sort of funky deck, which is sort of your sort of realm. Are you feeling the Black Waltz? Well, I should say the Black Mage is going to be a Black Mage deck, isn't it? Yeah. Rather than a Black Waltz deck.
Yeah, I mean, I like the card, but I don't understand how I'm going to make it work. I could totally see other people making it work, but I'm not going to be the person that sits down and works it all out. So, good luck.
I mean, don't play it against Cecil.
Yeah,
because you're not going to have I mean, at least it's cheap to get the effect off, so you could start paying for it. But that's not going to work. I think it's alright. It's interesting. I think it's good. I'm going to give it bonus points because it's interesting and it looks really cool. Has this got a full art? I think it has, hasn't it?
Yeah,
they all have
really cool art.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
They are all S tier art. Yeah, I'll give you
These
that one.
These could be like the best looking cards in the game, couldn't they? Possibly that we've ever had. I think.
You've got the playing card ones.
The playing card ones, yeah, they're very popular. They're cool. This maybe that garland, the full art garland, with like the sort of comic book art. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is up there with some of like the best looking cards we've had. So I think I'm going to put it B. It's just because I'm not sure on it. Did you put it in B as well?
Yeah, I put it in B.
You put it in B. I think I'll go B. I think it's either it might be really good. It might just be okay. I think they'll be decent. I don't think they'll be really bad, but in some matchups it'll be really bad. But
I think the only thing you need to be careful of, anyone who actually does play this card, is that there's a difference between discarding for an ability and discarding for a cost. So, like for example, if a card like we'll say Unalesca, it says Dole Unalesca and discard one card, and then there's the is it semicolon? I can't even see it. Yeah, semicolon. If it says all of that beforehand, then you don't get the 4K discard, 4K damage. If it says it after it, like this one does, where it says 0 semicolon discard 1 black mage, that's when you get the 4K discard. So you need to discard as an ability, not a cost.
Oh, that's interesting. That might catch people out actually.
Yeah,
that's a classic sort of tournament zone sort of rule, isn't it? Where someone raises it and you sort of cry because you built your whole deck around it.
Yeah. So just be careful of it.
Yeah, it'll be nice when we get playing with this set because the whole of spoiler season, any time a card has said discard, particularly there's quite a lot of ice discard, isn't there? Like the first comment is, "Oh, you can discard a black mage." It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. They trigger on the discard, so that's been said a lot. So as soon as this gets sort of, hopefully it doesn't do too well, and then that will be sort of constrained to history whenever we see a discard related effect. everyone talks about that. So the sooner that's gone, the better. But yeah. All right, cool. We will move on then. So next one is Y'shtola, another Y'shtola, in the lightning element now. So Y'shtola, 3 cost, 7k forward, Scion of the 7th Dawn, category 14 and Dissidia. When Y'shtola enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls. Until the end of the turn, it loses 4,000 power for each job Scion of the 7th Dawn you control. And oh, it's actually be forwards. I've just misread that. So it's for each Scion forward you control. Okay, I'm going to have to change my rating. Dole 1 active job Scion of the 7th Dawn forward. That's forward as well. I've misread this card in my preparation quite dramatically. Choose one category 14 forward. Until the end of the turn, it gains haste and first strike. It also has a special Pulse of Creation, which is the special card, plus 2 lightning and a dole. Deal 9,000 damage to all the forwards other than job Scion of the 7th Dawn. Ben, is it your turn? Probably my turn, isn't it?
I think it's yours.
Is it? Well, I've drastically misread this because actually, at first I thought it wasn't very good, and then I've been thinking actually more thoughts about it. Oh, it's actually pretty good. I was tempted to put it A, but I'm going to have to put it B because I didn't realise it was Scion forwards with all the effects. So I thought this sits quite nicely with sort of a generic 2-cost Scion backup. There's quite a few of them, isn't there? But seeing as it's forward, actually, don't like it anymore. So I'll put it B because I've taken up my C's. Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed as you read it. Because I actually thought this was cool.
From an A to a B,
I'm really disappointed. Read your
Yeah.
cards, people. Read the cards. I thought it was for every job Scion, and if you dull a job Scion, which now makes this a bit shit because I was about to say how you don't have to play this in a Scion focused deck, and it's quite cool, but it's not because it is a Scion focused deck. So yeah, B. Sorry, Y'shtola, I don't like you anymore. Someone else there, tell me how good this is. I'm so disappointed.
I like it. I've liked the other Scion decks, but I always felt that Y'shtola was probably one of the least, cards in it. It didn't seem to be as good as it should do, whereas this one will actually do stuff with the other Scions. And the special's just really good. I really like specials.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just trying to think of what all the Scion forwards now are. It's Thancred, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's right. You were talking about Thancred because you can give him haste. Yeah, that's pretty good. What other ones are there?
You got all the ones.
All the it was an Opus 5 starter deck, wasn't it?
Yeah, Earth
It's
and
like-
everything.
I forget all their names.
Yeah,
So this is a Scion focused deck then, isn't it?
Ida and Papalima.
Ida, that's it. Papalima, yeah.
yeah.
So this is a Scion focused deck. Is it still relevant?
Is it though?
I don't know.
And that's what's. This is like this one has really confused me because
I mean, if it's not, then basically the only reason you're playing it is for the special, isn't it? Surely.
Well, so the first effect is you want more Scions, obviously. The second effect, Scions have a backup that gives all Scions haste. Why do you need to give Scions haste? So that to me is that ability. You don't need that.
Well, was that Thancred though that gives them all haste in the backup?
No, I think it was Alizé, wasn't it, or Alphanord?
Yes, you're right. It's one of those two. I think it's Alizé.
Yeah.
Alizé.
And then obviously the special is a Scion card. The only thing I can work out where it's good is the Water Lightning Thancred. I think that can bring this back. When it enters, and then this will enter the field. You've got another Scion, so you reduce by 8k. You can dole this Y'shtola, give that Thancred haste, and it can break a forward. That's the only deck I can see this being in. That's good. So you can run Urianger and stuff like that as well, because I think that's there's a Water Lightning one of that as well.
There's a couple of Uriangers, isn't there? There's that new starter one that revealed the top 2, and you add a category 15.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
category 14.
I'm not going to entertain the idea that you can give Innocence haste. That's just
Well, you
not.
can give Innocence haste.
You can,
Technically.
but no.
You can give Innocence. You shouldn't
Yeah,
rule, we
no, I
shouldn't
mean-
rule anything else. You can give
Yeah.
innocence haste.
You can, doesn't mean you should.
No. Is that Jurassic Park? Too busy thinking whether we could rather than whether we should.
Yeah.
Firearms
Um,
find a way.
But-
Silence by the way.
So I've put it in B only because I said of that
Because of
the
Thancred.
because of that Thancred and that Thancred alone. Other than that, I don't think I couldn't work out any good reason to run this card. So yeah, that's what I
You
went for.
put it in. I was going to put it in. Did you put it in B as well? I think, Ben.
No, I put it in A.
Oh, you put it in A. Yes, so I was going to put it in A, but as I read it out, I was like, oh no, it's terrible. But now I've filled up all my C and B, which means everything else is really good, and I'm not sure that's correct. Okay, well, we're going to have to roll with it. I've made my
Made your
choices.
bed.
Yeah, I've made the bed. I will lie on it. Yeah, I'm disappointed because I thought around it was, with one backup, you lose 8k. That's really good. And even if you just came in at 4k, it's not too bad because you can dull any Scion and give haste. But no, forwards has really ruined it for me. Damn, that's a shame. Okay, right, we'll move into water. Tidus, free cost 7k. The klaxon alarm hasn't sounded yet. Remember, we've got Mitch's klaxon of the worst card in the set still to come. So Tidus is a free cost 7k forward. Got Job Guardian, Dissidia and Category 10. Tidus cannot be blocked. When Tidus is put from the field into the owner's deck, draw 3 cards. When Tidus is chosen by your opponent's summon or ability, you may put Tidus at the bottom of its owner's deck. When you do so, choose one forward opponent controls, put it at the bottom of its owner's deck. Who would like Tidus? I've just done Y'shtola, so it's one of you two.
I don't mind doing Tidus.
Go on then.
I like this card. I think it's very strong. I think it's a bit reminiscent of how I see it is Ritz from Opus 11, I think it is. It doesn't come in with haste, but it puts your opponent on a timer because it can't be blocked. So you can just play this down, start swinging, and then they've got 7 turns before, probably less, but they've got 7 turns before they lose the game. So this card needs to be removed. I think the draw 3 is crazy because if they, for example, if they remove it on your opponent's turn and then you draw 3, and then on your turn you're going to be drawing 2. You basically have started with 5 cards again. It's such a powerful effect. And the putting one to the bottom of the deck, I think that's crazy good as well. Like, it's just everything in this card reads well. The only problem I have with it, and it's why it's not an S, is because of cards like Cecil and Wahl, like by extension, there's going to be a lot of do not choose abilities. So it's going to be a lot of for how I see it is there's going to be a lot of Ziliras, there's going to be a lot of Exodus, the Lightning Summon. It's going to be a lot of breaking that doesn't choose. And because Cecil's a 5 CP, they're going to have to run those sort of cards. Like, this dies to a current card that's popular that doesn't choose, and that's the card's forgotten me. What's that light one that you love, Tom?
Shinryu.
Yeah, Shinryu. Sorry, that's it. So yeah, Shinryu already kills this card without choosing it. So that's like current decks can get rid of this card, but they can't get rid of Cecil. So I think whatever.
Although Shinryu gets rid of Cecil, isn't it?
No, it gets rid of 6. There's 3, 6, and 9.
Oh, is it not
3,
3?
6.
I thought it was all the odd. Is it 3, 6, and 9? Okay.
Yeah, 3, 6, 9.
Of course
So
he would. Why would he put Cecil at cost 6 if Shinryu kills it?
But yeah, what will kill whatever answers people have to this Cecil, whatever they work out, will more than likely kill this Tidus, but just by extension. And that's my problem with it. That's the only reason it's an A, is because, as I said, Shinryu can kill it, which is a current card, and things that kill Cecil will kill this. So
with the ability stack, so say you were to put the Cecil at the bottom of their, or somewhere, anything, because Cecil protects everything, doesn't it? So you go to pick the forward, so you would have to pick it first because it's when it goes. Because Because it's when he's chosen, you'd have to then.
So
what I'm saying is, do you draw the 3 cards before you pay the 2 off the
No.
choose? So you'd have to choose
No.
and pay, and then you draw 3 cards.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Tidus would
That's
go
a
to the
shame.
deck, and then you'd get both of your effects of break, like put 1 to the bottom and draw 3, and then your opponent's thing stacks on top of it.
So you'd have to.
Unless
So what I'm trying to say is, would you, if you could draw the 3 before you have to pay that 2 for Cecil, it's not.
No.
It's quite good,
Yeah.
but it's not, is it? Because
no,
you have
you'd
to
always
choose
have.
and pay instantly
Yeah.
to put it on the stack, and then the stack resolves in that
Yeah.
order, doesn't it?
So you draw 3 after you've paid, which isn't the best.
So then you would be able to either bounce theirs or draw first, depending on what you want, because it's your turn. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame, because that would be really nice.
Yeah. But as I said, it's A tier for a reason.
A tier for a reason. I think this is good. I'm going to put it in S just because I don't think anything else is better than it's still to come. I haven't thought this through properly, have I? So I put it in S. I think it's good. I like it. I like category 10 anyway. And the starter set, I'm really enjoying that. I like some of those cards in the new starter set. And you've got some protection from that for Tidus, because you've got the Oran, so he would come on and he protects, but I suppose he doesn't protect from what you're talking about, Mitch, but he protects by default because you have to choose the Oran first. So I think it's pretty cool. Still got a bit of a shame with the searcher for this is still wind, isn't it? So you'd be looking at wind, water, but yeah, I think this is a nice aggro-y deck, like fire, water or something would be quite cool with this one. I think it's good, and I think you want to be drawing through your cards and spamming down, so I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I do like him. Ben, do you like this Tidus?
Yeah, I mean, it's good, isn't it? Anytime we get to draw 3 cards, it's fun. Yeah, strong.
The only thing
it's ridiculous. It's just so fun.
Can't be blocked is cool, yeah. The only thing I was going to say with this is, with the sort of the wind sort of side of meta things, maybe wind, water again. So we've got this mill deck which is popular at the moment with the sort of mind flayer. So wind have got their own sort of mind flayer now on a card on the Zizan, isn't it? 2-drop hero. So
yeah.
I think when this was first revealed, you're thinking, oh, okay, this is Tidus can't be blocked. So you got to get him, but every time you get him, he's going to draw 3 cards, and it's like you have to weigh up the pros and cons of that. There is the potential that the mill side of things might become more important, which then feeds into they're quite happy to keep letting you draw your 3 cards, which is another thing to consider, I guess. Or maybe it isn't, I don't know.
I said when you're drawing that many, and if it's a constant thing, it is going to be something you have to keep an eye on. But 3 cards will, as long as you're not going for the late game, it's just like a positive. But then, as I said, your late game might come a lot quicker than your opponent's.
Yeah.
So just be careful with it.
You'd have to build with that in mind, I think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's cool. I think this is one of the full art ones as well, isn't it? With the,
yeah, I think, yeah.
because it's custom art, isn't it? Yeah, pretty cool. Anything else to add on this one, anyone? Or I think we've probably covered it.
Yeah, I think we covered it.
I think it's covered, yeah.
Oh, Ben, you put it in A, didn't you?
I put it in A, yeah.
Better keep track. Mitch, you were A as well, weren't you?
Yep.
Okay, so the next water legend. Waiting for the klaxon. There's no klaxon. We may proceed. Ben, you can talk about. Is it Maya or Maya? I think it's or Mia.
I think it's one of them.
One of those.
One
yeah.
of the pronunciations.
So
yeah.
I'll say Maya. 1 cost forward. She's lovely, overpowered for you, Ben. That's 7k. Mobius. Her job is Amalthea, whatever that is. She has haste. Maya cannot be blocked. And then her ability, Dole. Cast 1 summon from your hand. The cost required to cast it is reduced by 3 and can be paid using CP of any element. Cannot become 0. Remove that summon from the game after use instead of putting it into the break zone. Go for it, Ben.
It's Maya can't be attack or block. It's not she can't be blocked. You know, and that's why she's overpowered.
Sorry, did I say can't be blocked? Yeah, can't
That's-
attack
that's why
or
she-
block. Sorry,
That's why she's got 7,000 power, just for all
because she
those
can't
times
do
you
anything.
you nullify all of her abilities, and then you attack with her. Yeah, I mean, I like casting different summons from different elements in every deck that I play, especially video decks. It's fun. So this just helps that even more, really. So I love it. Yeah, this is an S for me.
Oh, nice.
Nothing fancy about it. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think it's going to be complicated. People are going to play it because it's 1 CP and it reduces stuff by 3. So yeah, good.
So by default I've only got A slots left, so I'm having to go A. But I think it's quite cool. I like it. Quite spicy. Summons have sort of made a nice comeback into the game because they were sort of on the sidelines for quite a few opuses, and they've sort of coming back now. So I'm a fan of summoner style decks, so this fits into that. I think it's pretty cool. Mitch, how do you feel about this one? You've got a wide range of slots still open.
B's and C's.
You've got an A and a B and a C.
Do I? I thought I have.
According to this, you've got an A and a C now left after you've picked Mayo.
I thought I got 2 B's, 2 B's and a C.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe I've
Yay.
maybe I've done it wrong. Hang on.
We'll follow up at the end. Maybe did you
Yeah.
put Wahl in A then? Luso, Wahl, or Y'shtola went up into A.
Yeah, let's go with Walls and A because
Walls and A. I mean, this is unprecedented. I don't normally let you change your answers, but
that's my Mario.
Whoa,
Okay.
don't ruin it.
Yeah, I'll keep that quiet actually.
Anything further to add on this one? Pretty straightforward, isn't it?
I've gone for B. I think I'm going to give credit to Aslan here. So he's never going to let me live this down. But he pointed out to me, because I immediately thought it's not a card that I like. Like, I don't like these sort of decks where you play like more summons and anything like that. But the value of this card is not going to be come off with the first summon that you cast. So, which is probably why it's got haste. It's because you're paying 1 CP and the card in hand, you're essentially paying 3 CP, which takes off the card. The first summon you cast is reduced by 3 CP, so it's essentially the same. The next turn, that's when you start getting value out of your summon. So this card is only going to be good from the second summon onwards, and it's more, is it going to live during that? It probably will do, which then it starts becoming a good card, and as I said, it's more that I don't like it than anything, but the first summon you cast is not immediate value from it. So I said I think it's a bit deceptive to start with, but it's better than some of the cards we've got here. So I said I've put it in B for now.
Yeah, I know people really like that sort of value and cost sort of calculations and all that when they're for me that kind of I'm not quite at that level yet. So yeah, it just goes over my head a little bit. But yeah, I do appreciate all of the when you got the card in hand and you got to pay for it. So it's fair enough. But no, I think it's quite funky for the effects. That's why I liked it. But yeah, for the value focus, that is a fair point. I will let you have it. I'm going to move on into the last two, so the light or dark.
About that one though, that I find that if I'm paying 1 CP for a forward and people feel that then they have to get rid of it, they're going to be paying more than the 1 CP I paid to play it. So I
Sometimes
value there.
Sometimes, but then also you can there's a lot of things now that can dull and freeze, and then if this card is dull and froze.
Yeah, if it's frozen, you're going to feel.
Yeah, and especially you can get it for free now with like a discard or something like that. You can do it off of that new monster. So like you discard your opponent's card.
I mean, maybe if someone Cloud of Darkness is this, then you're screwed.
Oh yeah. To be fair, imagine if someone plays Cloud of Darkness on this, then that's it, game over.
They deserve the win.
Yeah.
The win. I suppose you'll always get the one because they can't respond to anything that it's doing, like an on-entry effect. So you'll always get the tap off if you've got a summon in hand ready to go, which I assume you would. I assume you'd play this ready to cast something. there's some good, getting a summon for 1. I'm thinking of the 4-cost sort of summons like Sildra, Mind Flayer. There's lots of good stuff to do when it comes straight in. It's not the worst turn to pay for it.
I think because you can pay any CP for the summon, it's going to breed a deck that's going to be absolutely crazy. Like you can have like Fenrirs, you can have Phoenixes, you can have Raidens. I said I think it's just because
Arcs.
Yeah, as I said, there's so many things that this can open up. It's one of those ones that, how I see it, is one of those cards that Kageyama has an idea in his head where it's an absolutely crazy deck and it's going to be top tier, and then no one works it out. It's like, do you remember the Legend Una that we had before, where it searched a summon of
the wind
each cost and all different colours, and no one worked that deck out. And I think this is stronger because it's more generic, and that's why it's a better card, and it will see play. But I think there's a deck there that he can see, or his testing team can see, and it's just not going to come up.
Yeah, I remember with that, we had a game with me and you, Ben, where I resolved the Una, but you were sort of on board. I think you were letting it happen because you wanted to see what happened.
It was awesome.
But it was amazing, but it would never happen again. And obviously, it needed a bit of cooperation from the opponent to sort of let it build up to that. So yeah, maybe you're right, Mitch. There's a lot of cards actually in this game. I often feel that we get it wrong, and we don't really understand what the intention was, and it doesn't fully get unlocked. But I think this one's a little bit more straightforward to realise that. So I think people will go for this, and I think there'll be lots of sort of funky decks that will have a lot of fun with this. So I think it's cool. All right, we're into the 50-50 territory. I don't think it's this one because I know you like Warrior of Lights, but then that could be what tilts you over because maybe
I feel like there might be a Claxton coming.
I think it might be the next one because I think he likes Warrior of Lights unless it's really something's triggered him about it. So Warrior of Light. Let me read the effects and then you can jump in whoever wants it. So 2 cost forward, 5,000 power, category 1 and Dissidia. Warrior of Light, job Warrior of Light. For each forward other than Warrior of Light you control, he gains 1,000 power. Remove him from the game. All the forwards you control gain this forward cannot be broken until the end of turn, and you can only use this during your opponent's turn. Who would like Warrior of Light? Ben, it sounds like it's you, which means Chaos is the man. The spotlight.
Okay.
Go on then, Ben. I mean, Ben, you like Warrior of Light decks. You're an archetype
like
man,
Warrior
aren't
of
you?
Light.
So
yeah, I like the tribals. They're fun. This one, I like it, but it's not better than any of the other Warriors of Light. I don't think so. Not sure I'd overly play it. Maybe it's going to be better in a Golbez deck. I don't know. It doesn't have an entry effect, so it could be.
does Aerith work in a Golbez deck?
Which one?
The one we just said was terrible. I guess it kind of does, doesn't it? Because it gives everyone 2k.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Surely that's not the intention. But we're scraping the barrel when we go. This Opus 16 card works in a Opus 1 Golbez deck.
Aerith and this, so basically, this Warrior of Light becomes 8k because it gains 3k. That's pretty good.
And then you can't break all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah, I've got this in an A because that's one of my slots left. So.
Okay.
Warrior of Light. So
you've done a Tom in planning there. Oh, I've given him A as well. Actually, if I called him Wahl in my spreadsheet, then people won't know which one I've seed and which one I've A'd because there's 2 Wahls then. So when I look back on this in a year's time, I'll be like, oh yes, I did think that wind Wahl was very good.
Yeah, if I called the wind one right.
Called it right, yeah.
I love wind so much.
Come on then, Mitch, you've put this in B.
Yeah. I think this is an alright card. It's nothing special. It's one of those ones that's it's thematic. To be fair, it's thematic like Cecil, like as in Cecil protects. He's a paladin. He protects everyone. Warrior of Light. He sacrifices himself to protect everyone. It makes sense. He gets power based on all your forwards. I said I like it. I don't think it's anything amazing. There are better light cards, there are better dark cards to play. as I said, if it could fulfill a niche in your deck if you need it. Like, for example, if you're worried about the cost of the power of your forwards, and you're worried about something like Titan, Fina, all of that sort of stuff.
Squall. Nice
Squall.
little counter for Squall, isn't it?
Yeah, it stops them. This stops the Borglias. This is going to be played if you're worried about that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
because you can block. Squall hits the ping and then you trigger this off
Yeah.
Squall's second ping, and everyone survives, and hopefully you block Squall as well. Well,
Yeah.
you kill
So
Squall.
what
I
you're
mean,
saying is
so you would
put
block
this
him.
in any Chocobo deck, yeah. Right, got it.
Yeah.
Chocobo deck, yeah.
My biggest worry is you put this with Cecil, and then when they play a card to break everything,
Ooh.
you're like, no. And if this gets chosen, Cecil blocks it for 2 CP. I think I'm actually going to put this in, like, I know I mentioned I had too many Bs.
Are you swapping around again?
Yeah, no, so originally I put Wahl in B and this in B, but this one will go A, and I think it's because of that in wind decks. There's also like I think at Bart's that can get this and stuff like that, but I think that'd be too much. So I think, but with this, just with Cecil, I think is crazy strong.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty cool, actually, isn't it?
yeah,
I thought. This didn't really interest me when I saw it. I'm not really a fan of the Warrior of Light sort of archetypes, but I don't think maybe this isn't a Warrior of Light deck anyway, is it? So, that Everyone Can't Be Broken is pretty strong, particularly with the current sort of things you'd need that. So like Samurais and Shinryu is another one.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. Titan.
So
it's quite good, quite powerful.
So it's lucky that it's just during opponent's turn. Otherwise,
it's pretty good,
you could just do it whenever. Yeah,
it is pretty good. Maybe it will see more play than I sort of initially dismissed it, but maybe it will become like a nice little tech slot because you're going to need it to sort of counter. He does remove from game though, so then we're getting into realms where you need to do it multiple times. And most of those decks we're talking about sort of repeated. Okay, you kill the Squall, so then they might not have another one for a bit. But the other things like Samurais and other things, you might have a bit more problem there. Cool. All right, we're into the last card. So this is the Mitch klaxon is going off.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the klaxon, but yeah,
okay. Let's read it then. Chaos, we've got a lovely Amano, one of his like biro arts where he uses like a biro pen to draw this one out. So Chaos, the Dark Legend, 11 CP, 8,000 power. Job Chaos, category 1. The cost required to cast Chaos is reduced for 2 for each element among characters opponent controls. When Chaos enters the field, your opponent selects one forward other than light or dark they control, and you gain control of it. And then he has the tap ability or dull ability. Put one character you control owned by your opponent into the break zone. Choose one forward, break it. Go on then, Mitch. You've been waiting for this.
This is the worst card I think I've ever seen on a legend. I genuinely think this is probably I think this is the worst card ever. Like, reducing by cost. So it starts off at 11. This is a massively expensive card. Second of all, if your opponent, most opponents will play 2 colours, maybe 3 if you're lucky. So you're reducing by 60p. I still wouldn't pay 5 for this card. Most of the time you'll be paying 7. When it enters, your opponent selects one forward. So your opponent selects, they give you the shittest card they have. It can be a Viking, it can be as Zidane that they don't care about, because then they can just play another one afterwards. So, and then to top it all off, you have to dull. This card has to survive. You have to dull the character, and then put the card into the break zone that you've just stolen, which probably won't survive, to break a forward. So you have basically played 11 CP over 2 turns, and then you've broken 2 things. And that's presuming that they don't just go Amaterasu.
Yeah, why is he 8k?
Yeah.
This
As
is
I said,
this is a big boy card. It should be like 10 because I still don't
Yeah,
think many
this
people aren't going to play this, are they? So it should be at least
No.
10. Should
yeah,
be
it should be
fearsome.
like
Or 8k and haste.
8K. Like don't
Or
even
brave.
have the
You could have brave and haste.
don't take the doll away. Like just put another, like take a character off of them and then
Do it
put it
straight
into the
away.
break zone and then break something. Then you're two for paying, like as I said, 11, 9, 7, whatever you pay. This is, as I said, literally the worst card ever.
Wow, big statement here, Ben. I mean, this is if you like sort of the
And I get
funky decks and the big cards and stuff.
I do like the big funky decks, and I like having lots of elements in my decks, which is going to hurt me if
You're going to get killed by your own.
and they're going to nick like a Sawyer or something off me, and then draw 2 cards and kill it, and I'm just going to have a bad time. But I mean, the deck that this card's going to go in is just going to be someone trolling, basically, isn't it? So, I've put it in a B, I think.
It's a B you've got left, yeah. I've got A left.
I
Come on,
like,
Chaos.
I like the drawing. The art's good on this
Yeah, I
one.
mean, I joked that it's like biro drawing, but at least it looks like a thing, which is rare for a mono.
I mean, I completely understood what Mitch was going on about, though, and the fact that it's a character that you control that your opponent owns, though, you know, so unless you're playing like loads of mind flayers, then you're only ever going to pull this off once, and it's just, you know.
Yeah, that's the other thing with his, where you go all in, it's so expensive, and then he's done. He doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And he's not even scary. Like, if he was a big, like, 10k or something, which used to sound ridiculous. Oh my goodness, I remember we had our first 10k forward, but now there's quite a lot of them. It's not a big deal. Like, that would be a bit more scary. Give him brave or something. Make him a threat after he does this, because you're not going to bounce and replay them, are you? I suppose you could Renoa it, but...
No, not really. Yeah, Renault or Unai device.
Like, why bother?
No, as I said, it's just
I mean,
just better cards.
You want to play this with Unai, so you're playing 6 CP for Unai, then 11 for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have to use the Maya so that you can do the cheap Unai summons.
It's not lost on me that Santoto will make this cost 0, but Santoto's seeing less and less played now that there's more and more board clears coming out. So then you're playing different Santotos, and when you play 0, and then you take one of your opponent's forwards, the one game in say 10 that you play where your opponent's Santoto'd you, even then it's not going to win you the game just by playing this for free. Like,
Well, no, because you can't follow up the Santoto. They've got no forwards left. So then you've got to wait another turn anyway. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? The more you read it, the more...
Dark card sitting in your hand. It's always fun.
Dark card, yeah, is blocking out your hand. It's a weird one.
Yeah, as I said, I just can't see it. Like, it's just so weird.
And I guess even if they give you a forward that is really good, then you don't want to break it anyway. Because say they've only got one forward on the field, which is really good. You steal it with chaos. You don't want to break it then, because you've just got their really good forward. So then you just...
imagine stealing their Cecil that you then have to...
Well, yeah, like imagine like you get rid of their other stuff. Yeah, you steal their Cecil, you steal their Squall, and then you're not going to kill it because you want it. So then, and he doesn't even have Brave, so you can't even attack with Brave, and then wait till they have to kill their own Squall, and then you just kill it anyway. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, especially with it being like so heavy costed. If someone plays down Squall, then you're gonna have 0 in hand because you've just paid $1 million for this, and then they're just gonna attack twice with Squall, and this dies just anyway, and the forward that you've taken off of them. I don't know. I said I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. No, it's just another. It could be much better with very simple additions, which wouldn't make it ridiculous. I still don't think it would see much play. A bit like that Kirin, couple of extra abilities like some Brave and a bit more power. it's still not going to tip it over the edge, and people probably still won't play that much. But this is sort of borderline. Someone's going to play this for a laugh, but other than that,
Yeah. As I said, as I was saying in the chat, it is a 3 forward swing. Like, as in you're taking one off for them, you're gaining 2. But unless you play it onto like a empty board with a Braska's Final Aeon,
well, that's
or
what. But then, even then, you take their Braska's Final Aeon, you don't want to crack it the next turn, do you?
yeah, exactly,
Because it's gonna, whatever they play down, you want the Braska's Final Aeon is going to remove it itself. It's like all the best stuff that you would take, you wouldn't kill it anyway.
Yeah.
So this needs to be against a wide board. They're going to give you something shite. They're probably going to kill it before you get to do it. It's just a strange one. Just a strange one.
Yeah,
Unless you protect it with Cecil or something, or Wahl.
I said, I genuinely think if the numbers were, the cost of it was less and the power of it was more, I could see this card being used, but it's just not good. I don't know. I think the only thing it might be better for is, can this be used in boss battle? Isn't that remove a chaos and play a chaos down?
There is, but then are you allowed to tweak the boss decks? Are you supposed to use?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you supposed to use the standard one? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Can you? Okay.
I don't know, but no one I haven't played boss battle in ages. So.
It was very good. It was fun, but I think that we need a bit of an update, don't we, to the boss cards, because there was some problems with like Mind Flayer and well, probably with this Zidane now. Imagine Zidane hero versus boss deck.
Yeah,
that's going to be problems. So cool. All right, well, that was the last legend of Opus 16. I mean,
ended on that sour note.
There is some good stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff that's not great, and it's really not great, which is a shame, because I think we've used the term wasted slot a couple of times, which is always a shame, because
I think this set is probably one of the most powerful we've seen in like a couple of it's a big upgrade on like power boosting. I think like the so I think this is just generally a good set. The only thing is, like, a lot of them aren't legends.
Yeah, there's some really great cards and outside of the legend category. Some really interesting stuff. We've got the crystal stuff. I think last time we reviewed the crystals, which was the new thing for Opus 15, and we were a bit underwhelmed with it. The crystal stuff in here has been really good. It's really interesting. There's some cool stuff you can do with crystals, much more ways of getting them. There's more cards that add crystals. There's a few that have like a couple of crystal effects, so they come in to the field and give you a crystal, and when they die they give you a crystal, or like when they attack or something they give you a crystal. I think Wind does all of them, doesn't it? EX burst, enter field, when it leaves the field, and when you do something else.
I think there's Deleter that does 4K to everything, and whenever he kills something, just at any point, he gains crystals, and you can boost his damage and everything. So I think
that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, lots of ways to get crystals
over the
now.
fact that there's 3 new Chocobos in this set as well, and the Chocobo Sam. Come on,
Chocobo Sam, fat Chocobo. I know Chocobos gets a lot of love, doesn't it? But don't play him too hard, because they will ban fat Chocobo. So be warned, he's on the list for some reason.
Yeah, but not this fat Chocobo. This one's new. This is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The one that gains 10k power, but he can't block or attack.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
So, be warned, Chocobo people. Keep it under the radar a little bit, because you are on the watch list. There was something else on the watch list, wasn't there? Was there?
Mashery.
Oh, Mashery, yeah.
Yeah, the light summon bird, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mashery. That's the one, yeah. So, no, I think it is a good set. I think you're right. There's lots of interesting stuff. I'm concerned about where the meta will go in terms of like proper competitive tournaments. I think it might be a little bit samey at the top end, which is a shame. So I think there's lots of interesting stuff and cool stuff that could come out of it. But yeah, generally it seems positive. I think we're happy. We've got stuff to look forward to now, so we can re-raise the podcast. You like what I did there? Now it's been a hard grind these past couple of years, because there's not been too much to talk about, and it's hard to keep people's attention, I think, on just talking about new cards all the time. So yeah, we've got stuff to talk about now, so we'll we can put into gear. And in fact, our own regional is only a week or so away.
No,
think.
maybe not.
We think so.
We don't know.
The Calamity regional was meant to be the 17th of April, but it's coincided. That's Easter Sunday. We think everything is shut. There's definitely no public transport in the UK because there's a train strike and all stuff. So we're in discussions to try and get it moved. I think it's been an administrative oversight from Asmodee's part. But there's lots of regionals. So go around to the regionals, support all your other stores, meet up with people again. I've seen already the regionals have had good attendance for the most part, and it's just great to see. So, I think I've got the intention to do a little bit of travelling where I can to get to a couple of different regionals, and and because it's not Square official regionals, we can call on the legality of the new Opus. So even though it comes out next Friday and there's a couple of regionals the following week, you could, if you're happy to, run Opus 16 as legal because it's not an official Square event, so the normal restrictions don't apply. So, get cracking with all the new cards. It should be fun. Interested to see what people come up with this new Opus. So, happy times ahead for FFTCG. And Kageyami's called it ReRaise for a reason, hasn't he? Because he said, he wants to sort of revive everyone's interest and happiness in the game. And let's take advantage of it, I think. And if you're UK based or Europe based, we'll probably see you hopefully at the Brotherhood games who've got the ReRaise event in the UK. So I'm sure most of us are planning to attend that. So it's all looking good. Happy times. So we'll call into it there. We'll be back fairly soon, I guess, to talk about regionals, and we can talk about the new decks we've seen and all the new cards in the Opus. Lots to look forward to.
How broken Chocobos are.
Chocobos banned.
Yeah, I'll give up on ice already.
We'll see how long we can start taking wages. How long will Zidane or Cecil last until they get restricted or banned? I'm sure they don't want to have to ban a card straight away like they did last time with Stern or Cecil. So this will probably go on. I can't see them making any adjustments. So it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much for listening. And until next time, we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.